Awesome. Okay, so thanks everyone for joining us tonight. We have some pretty cool updates this week, which is really good. One is super exciting. And so I just want to go through those updates before we get into tonight's content. So the first thing I wanted to tell you about is we started an event coordinators group. So if there's anyone on this call who's not already involved and would like to be involved, please send me an email. So the purpose of this group is to kind of meet, I think we'll be meeting fortnightly at this stage, to discuss events that we're holding around the country. So whether it be a home event or event at a venue that's been booked, that we're going to share the information from those events, what's happening, what we're doing, and kind of bounce ideas off each other on how to improve the events, make them more attractive, improve the format, and try and get some consistency amongst the meetings, I guess. And also encourage people that if there is somebody who's joining Sizzle and is keen to be part of that or help run events, then definitely we would love to have them participate. And so this is, I've just called it Event Coordinators Group. This is quite separate to what Lisa organised, her council group, so that's completely separate. So I just want to let you know about that. And Sandy's also on the call tonight, and she's part of that group as well. And the reason I'm mentioning Sandy is because she did an event in Brisbane just on the weekend, which was very successful. So I just thought I'd maybe, Sandy, if you could say a few words about the event and give a little bit of feedback.
Hi, Katie.
Hi. Thanks for
Yeah, no, it was a great weekend. It's just finding that people don't actually book, like they just turn up. So that makes it a little bit hard that you don't know what numbers are coming. But, you know, like we had, I think it was 6 distributors and there was 6 guests, which was really good.
Oh, fantastic.
Actually, there might have been 7 distributors. But anyway, the numbers were quite good considering I only had 5, I think there was only booked, and we had 13 or something originally turned up. So that was good. But, yeah, it was great. Like, people really enjoy, you know, you're going through the Mao mission and then products. You know, a lot of people don't know a lot about the products. So probably what we'll eventually do, a lot of people said they'd like it 6 weekly, not monthly. But I suppose, you know, we can see what we think. And we would probably like to do a bit of product overview as well at some stage and get into a little bit of business training as well. So that was good.
Awesome. Thank you. So you haven't set the date for the next one, have you?
Yes, I have. But I'm just trying. The venue that we used is booked out. So I'd rang today and it's booked out. So now I've just got to try for another one. So 27th of July I'm working on, but I just need to make sure I can definitely get that venue. It'll be a different one. That's the hard part, is obviously your venues you need to book months in advance. So that's a problem we will have. So if I can get this other venue, which is going to be a changed one, then I will try to book in advance so we're not changing the venue all the time.
Yeah. Okay, great. Awesome. Okay. Well done. Congratulations. It's fabulous. So that's great. And we don't have Margaret on the call tonight, but Margaret, she's in Sydney. She's actually announced that she's running a meeting at her house on the 26th, which is next Monday night. I've got the address. I will send around the details tomorrow. So if you do have anyone in Sydney, they'll be able to tap into those events as well. We also created a URL for a website URL for the calendar of events around the country. So these are for Sizzle open events that people are doing. And so after this call, I'll send that around in an email as well. So you might want to bookmark that web address and, you know, so that you've got it for future reference, you can check that calendar. So we're actually going to use that calendar in conjunction. I think Kurt's going to add his events and that to it when he's touring and stuff as well. Because we are aware there isn't actually a calendar from corporate. Well, not for distributor events anyway, because I guess it's left up to us to organise. So that's all fine. So that was covering events. And then the next, I mentioned that. Okay, so the next exciting news is the 1-800 number that's been announced. So there was some technical difficulty. So originally I did send out an email and a message to everyone saying there's a new toll-free number, and it did begin with 0011 without the international dialing code of America. But it turned out there was some companies or carriers were charging for that number. So Sizzle went back and fixed it, and they've issued a 1-800 number, and that's all good. That's been tested and it works great. And there's also, so in New Zealand, so in Australia, we use 1-800 numbers for toll-free numbers. So that's a free call. And in New Zealand, they use 0800. That's their prefix for a free call. So we've got a separate number for New Zealand now and a separate number for Australia. Again, I'll email that around as well. So please check your emails. I have already sent it around to all of you. It's also on Facebook. In the groups, I've sent that too. So the hours of operation, because America's behind us, so essentially the office opens tonight. Well, actually it's Tuesday, isn't it? Tuesday midnight. So tonight, midnight. And then it closes at midday. So it's pretty much open for 12 hours for us to call during those times. And you can call from... I guess Tuesday night, I always get it mixed up thinking Monday night, but it's Tuesday night midnight to Saturday midday. So you can call on the weekends too, which I think is kind of handy as well for people who are working if they need to call. And the great thing about calling that number, if you have any questions about e-wallet, using vouchers, using coupons, signing people up, purchasing product, anything at all, you can call that number and get assistance. They'll step you through it or they'll do it for you. If you need help joining someone, they'll join someone up over the phone for you. And so it's really great if somebody's account's locked or they've got issues, they've got this number. So it's really in everybody's interest to spread the word on that phone number. And you could even, if you've got people in your team, it'd be a good idea to go ahead and text that number to them. Say, hey, just, sending a friendly update. We've got a new 1-800 number. You might want to put it in your phone. And if you want to be kind of really clever, you can create a contact in your phone. And then when you click on that contact, there's an option to forward, and you can actually forward it to someone via text message. And when they click on it, it automatically adds that to their contact address book on their phone. So there's little tricks like that you can do. So we really want to spread the word with that number and let people know, because I am aware, and I'm sure probably many of you on the call tonight, that there's quite often that people have trouble ordering, might have trouble with the website or don't feel confident. And as a consequence, they just don't order. And it's not because they don't want to, because they do. It's too much of a hassle. It's too hard. But if it's made easy for them, then obviously that's going to be great. So just letting you know about that. Okay. The other thing too that's happened, the distributor kit is now available to purchase. It's on your price list. If you log into your account and go to place an order, you'll see the distributor kit listed down the bottom. So for existing distributors, so for everyone on the call who's existing distributor, you can go ahead and purchase it. I would recommend purchasing it so you know what's in it, which I will go through tonight. And so that kit is $30 New Zealand if you're an existing member. And for new members, it's $37.50. So $37.50 New Zealand, which probably equates to about $35 Australian. So that is obviously a one-off fee, and so that officially is now really the joining fee for a distributor to get started. So it's important to kind of remember that, because you'll need to know that when you're talking to someone. So I just spoke to a lady today who's joined, and I was doing the math with her. What is the benefit of joining as the distributor versus the preferred customer? Well, as you know, distributors pay 10% less than a preferred customer. However, the distributor does have an annual renewal fee, which I think is still sitting at about 23 New Zealand dollars. But then they have to buy the kit. So I said to her, she actually doesn't even want to be a distributor in terms of she said if she gets good results, she would tell people, but she's not like planning on doing a business, but she still wanted to get the best price. So I said to her, if you're only going to order 2 months of products and you're never going to order again, then it's probably worth just joining as a preferred customer. But if you think this is going to be ongoing, you might want to consider getting the kit. And so we did the math, and yes, it's definitely worth her, because she's planning to stay on. She was ordering an H pill 2-pack. She's planning to stay on it for as long as possible. So then definitely it was worth her purchasing the kit. So she went ahead and did that. The other good thing about people getting the kit is that when that arrives, it's got catalogs in it, and it's got price list. It's got information about the Mauer mission. So even if you're not active as a distributor and you receive this information, it's quite useful and engaging, and I guess encouraging as well, because it's giving you, the purpose behind all of this as well. So I think that's really a good thing. It's also going to split people from, making a decision about being a distributor or about being a preferred customer. So you're really going to kind of split people now and know, are they interested in the business? Are they not? Or are they going to be potentially interested in the business at some stage? So that's good. So Kurt did a training call on the team call on Saturday regarding that. So the newsletter's coming out tomorrow, and that recording link will be in that newsletter. So if you missed the call on Saturday, you might want to watch that. Okay, so that was the other thing. So Facebook name change. So Kurt and I created a group called, it was originally called Sizzle Fitness and Weight Loss, and now it was called S Fitness and Weight Loss. But we've actually renamed that group to call it Better Health for You. And the reason we've done that is because we really want to do more interviews, but we also want to invite everyone on this call tonight to also actively participate in this group, and I'll explain how. We felt that with a name of Better Health for You, we could cover a broad range of health topics of all sorts of things. That makes this group kind of just a group that's an educational, informative group. Obviously, at times we touch on Sizzle products. Sometimes, not always. We don't always, though. And so if you're not already a member of this group, I invite you to be a member. But the other thing is that I'm also going to be, getting in touch with those of you on the call and inviting you to find someone that perhaps you would be interested in interviewing on a particular health topic, and participate in the group and actually do an interview and share some information, some health information. And it could be on anything that you're interested in the health field. So I know I've spoken to Michael, who's on the call tonight, and previously he was quite keen. Actually, is he on the call? No, he was on the call. So he was quite keen to cover the topic of the 5G network and, the effects of EMFs. And so, he could then go and find, say, someone who's an expert in this area or is an advocate in that area to promote awareness, to go and then interview them on this group. So that would be one idea. I think I've already reached out to someone in the CSIRO, so they do research on nutrition and health and stuff, and got in touch with someone who's an expert in gut health, and I'm going to be interviewing someone from there. So it's quite easy to just put your thinking cap on and find someone to interview, send them a message and ask them if they'd be open to doing an interview and coming up with some questions. So that's the idea moving forward, and then we can get everyone participating and contributing and building skills, developing, getting a little bit out of your comfort zone. An interview is a good way to start because you're not the one talking the whole time, you're just asking the questions. So that's kind of where our thinking is going with that. And then we're probably going to develop a site, Kurt and I, that'll have just health information that you could send people to as well, relating back to that group. So that's one idea that we're going to do. The other thing I just wanted to mention is on the team call this weekend, we're going to be covering the topic of why people may not get results with the age pill or H2 stick. And so it's really important information that we're covering on there. So I'll talk about that next week. But if you are able to get on that call, please do so. Or if you can't, definitely listen to the recording. So just wanted to mention that. And what else have I got? That's about it for the moment. Actually, I do want to touch on one thing. The H2 stick, people, if you read the instructions on the packet and it says wait 5 to 10 minutes, and we're advising people wait 15 to 20 minutes because it hits maximum H2 at 20 minutes. It then says drink it, but it doesn't tell you how long. There's a lot of people who are taking a very long time to drink it, like 2 or 3 hours. It's because it actually doesn't instruct you on the packet unless you've listened to one of Tom's calls or us talking about it. So I'll definitely be contacting Sizzle to get that packaging updated. And but just to let you know that if you are sampling or giving out the H2 sticks, please let people know the detail, because if they don't do that, they're not going to get the full benefit. Okay, and that's it. The last thing I just want to mention, actually, if you don't have Lisa Mauer's email address, please contact me. She does post it all over Facebook on the Australia New Zealand corporate Facebook group. If you do have any concerns or issues, or you want something fixed or improved, feel free to email her. She is our go-to person. If it's an issue with an order, she does request that all order queries go straight back to customer service. Okay, so that's all the updates. Sandy, just chime in if you think I've missed anything that should be mentioned tonight. I think I've covered everything. Okay. So the first thing actually I want to touch on, now I know I touched on this last week, but it's really, really important. So I just want to quickly talk about the media library. So let me just share my screen here, because I have shown this before, but I just want to show you again because this is a really valuable tool. Okay, here you go. Okay, so in your back office, when you go to the menu, hopefully you can all see this now. When you go to the menu across the top there, you've got Home, Business Center, Marketing Tools, Financial Tools, Corporate Info, My Account. So under Marketing Tools, they've added a new menu, and I can see they've even updated it again in the last couple of days. It did used to say Media Library, but they've changed it to, looks like they've split it, Resource Library and Document Library. Essentially, from what I can tell, it's showing the same thing. Doesn't matter which one you click on. I think it just changes the format. So yeah, if you click on Resource Library, this is where you find all the fact sheets. So PIPs, Product Information Page. They're essentially fact sheets. The fact sheets have the ingredients of every ingredient in the product. They have directions for use, benefits, features, and so all that great information. So this is a great place to go and also learn, improve your knowledge on our product range. And so, encourage you to now and again go in there and, read one of the fact sheets to learn a bit more about our products. Now, we've also got the price list in here. The Australia New Zealand price list is here, and the price list has EV, CV, the actual price, and it has distributed pricing and preferred customer pricing. So if you do go into your library and you want to share, say, a fact sheet, somebody's contacted you, you've told them a little bit, say, about Fucoiden, and they want to know a bit more about the product, they want to know the ingredients or something like that, then you can come into your back office, and if you just click on it, it will actually download. So if I just click on one of these, it'll start to download. Let's see. So you can see it's got a down arrow. So it starts to download, and then you need to find it obviously on your computer once you've downloaded it, and you could attach it to an email. That might get a bit tricky because sometimes when you download things on your computer, you go, where do they go? Obviously they go into a folder normally called downloads, but sometimes it is hard to navigate and find them. So an easy way to do this is if you actually just right click with your mouse, and if you go copy link address. And so when you've copied that link address, it's now on the clipboard. It's copied. Well, sometimes people get confused with this because they go, well, you've copied it, but where is it? Well, when I say copy to the clipboard, it's like the computer's just remembered that you've copied it. So the computer's memorized it, but you obviously can't see it. So then if you go into an email, so say here, I'm going to jump into my Gmail. Let's just see if you can see this. Yeah, if you jump into your Gmail and just go new memo. Oh, sorry, there's a black blob on the screen. If you go new memo and then okay, I'm just going to pretend I'm sending it to Helen. And now if I put my cursor there, if you right click again, you can go paste. So the right click function on your mouse. So if I go paste, now she's got that link. And these links to the fact sheets and all the price lists and brochures and everything else that's in there, these links do work outside of your back office. They're not searchable, but you can send the link and the link will work for somebody who's not currently a member. So I just wanted to let you know about those again because I just feel that's really useful and important information. Okay, so that's that demonstration. So the next thing I wanted to cover, actually I do want to do, I was thinking next to do it. No, actually I think I'll jump into the distributor kit. So let me just close this for a second. So we talked about, I've just mentioned the new distributor kit. Let's just see if I'm just going to do a new share. Okay. Okay, So we've got a distributor kit, and you might want to know what it looks like. I took pictures of it for you. So hang on, let me just scroll through here for a second. Okay, well, sorry, the picture's upside down. Let me see if I can fix this. Okay, I would have to exit out and then come back in. I'm not going to do that. So yeah, sorry, this picture's upside down. So essentially what you get is a folder. It's very nicely branded, and inside that it's got a bunch of things. One thing it's got there is it's got a little pin, a little sizzle pin, and then it's got some catalogs. So you can see a catalog there. I think you get 3 or 4. The other thing it's got in here is a flip chart for a presentation. And I'm going to actually bring that up on the screen because I want to show it to you. So let's see here. Okay, so let me just see that you can see this. Yeah, good. Okay, so you get a flip chart, and you can actually open it up and sit it on a table. And when you flip the pages over, you can read the one side, and then they see the picture side. So they see the picture side with a quote. So for instance, if you can just imagine this. So when I go to the first page, this would be the back side that faces me, and I can read it. It's actually been designed to be used this way, but you don't necessarily, if you were doing a PowerPoint, obviously, like what we're showing here, you wouldn't use it this way. So, and then the person would see this picture whilst I'm talking to the back of the page, which has why join Sizzle. And so what we've been doing was we've actually been using this presentation because it's really important, I think, that we have consistency and we have a system so that now we can really start to grow, so we can duplicate if everyone's using the same information and teaching the same information. So the why join Sizzle slide has, obviously what Sizzle stands for, about the mission, no harmful ingredients, debt-free company, and the compensation plan. So I just think here it will be really good, and many of you who are on the call have been in Tom's previous company, or you know a little bit more about the harmful ingredients story. You might know a little bit more about, when the company got started. So I think it will be great. You could feel free to kind of elaborate on a few of these points, add a couple of stories in. If you've been involved before, you might want to add a story in. It just kind of adds a bit more value, I guess, for the person listening. If somebody doesn't know what to say here and hasn't been in the company before, but they want to add something extra in, what I would recommend doing at this point is using, now I'm just going to bring this picture up. Let me see here. See if you can see it. Okay, let me just see you can see it. Sorry, I'm just flipping and changing screens. Okay, you can. So what I would recommend at this point, if they're going through this presentation like I was just on that first slide, and they don't know because they've not been part of Sizzle before and they haven't memorized it or don't know anything, that's okay, that's all good. Use the tear sheet pad in the kit. So the kit comes with this pad, and it's a tear pad, and so you can tear off a page, and essentially what you're tearing off is this page here that you're seeing on the screen. So it's got, I'm not sure how many, it's got probably 10. Yeah, probably 10 in there, and so you can tear this off and then actually read from this. So if you wanted to talk a bit about the mission and the story and management, you could add these bits in when you're actually talking through the slides, and this would be perfect for someone who doesn't know what to say, or you're nervous, or it's the first time, or you've never done it before. So this information would be great to share at the same time. Just going to go back to the flip chart. Okay, so we're on the first slide essentially. And then we've got the picture there with a nice quote there from Aaron. And then the next one talks about seasoned leadership. And so again, you could refer back to that page of information. Just checking it here because I've got it in front of me. It's actually double-sided. You've got the page that I just showed you, our mission. So let's have a look here. So our mission, and then there's a back side to that. I don't have a picture of it. Okay, so on the opposite side of this, so our mission, why Sizzle, if you've turned the page over, it's got some information about the science, the manufacturing facility, and talks a bit more about the compensation plan. So at that point, you could use the back side of that and actually add it into the little presentation here where we're talking about leadership. Again, we've got a picture, and then the manufacturing facility, it's talking about excellence in manufacturing. And it's got a picture there, which is great. Talks about the range. So when you get to this page here, if you're talking about the range, be really good to tell your story here. So your product story. So what's your favorite? Probably have more than one favorite product, but pick your favorite one or two products, and you could share your product story at this point. Your before, your after, what it did for you, and the benefits. So that would be really great to share your story there. And if you have some testimonials, even if they're third-party testimonials, I would share them there. I think when you talk through the products, while it's good to mention what the products are for, maybe a couple words, I think people get more value out of, you sharing a testimonial or a story about it, because they really want to know at the end of the day, how is it going to help them? So that's then the product page, slide rather, for the presentation. Again, that would be the flip side of that if you were doing it with the actual physical hard copy flip chart. And then the last part here we've got is the compensation plan in a nutshell. So I've been going through this part, which just basically reiterates how the comp plan works. So you've got, fast start, retail commissions and direct commissions, and the fast start bonus is 25%, and the retail commissions are 25% for life, direct commissions are 7%. So really here it just gives you a quick snapshot of the comp plan. It doesn't go into too much detail. Now, if somebody's really coming in from the business perspective, they want to build a business, they've had experience, they want to understand the compensation plan, at this point then you could really go on to the next slide and start explaining the compensation plan. But if you're doing a presentation to someone for the first time, I really feel that it's too much to start going through the whole compensation plan. It's too much information. So it's sort of on a need to know basis, but anyway, that's up to you to decide, but that's how we've been doing that format. And then, you can go through the rest of the slides in terms of if they want to understand the compensation plan in detail. So that's the flip chart and the overview. You can also, if I go back to this image here, you can also tear one of these off and you would give it to them. You could give it to them to take home with them so they can read about it. And as I said, on the opposite side, it's got the science manufacturing facility. The other thing what I do is when I get to what you would like or would be a good idea to do is when you get to the last slide, so say if you're going to the last slide being here, and you can see here on this flip chart, it says end of option A, short presentation. It says it in little fine print just here. See that here. So that's where we've been stopping. And more detailed presentation of the comp plan is part B. So at this point too, it's really important to mention the Wealth Builder pack, and that's another image, that's another tear pad that you get in the kit. Okay, so you can see that now. There's a Wealth Builder. Now, the one that you're seeing here, I actually ordered this kit before it even came out in Australia from the US, so these packs are not relevant to us. Well, the pricing's not, rather, the packs are. So at this point, then at the last part of the presentation, I would mention that for the serious, business builder, then it would be wise to invest in a wealth building pack, and these are the options we have, and kind of just explain a little bit how it opens up the 8th part of the compensation plan. And if they are interested in becoming a wealth builder, you would then point them to a tool, and I would point them to Milo's weekly call. So Milo does a weekly training call on the wealth builder system, and you could point them to that. The other thing is that we do have a recording of that presentation. We've got the first part of that, and Milo will be doing the second part of that training for the wealth builder for us in Australia. I believe it will be Thursday this week at 8 a.m. Again, that will be recorded and I'll upload it so you could refer someone to the training. So I just think it's really important to mention the Wealth Builder kit, because if they don't know it's there, they're not going to buy it. So it's important to mention it. The other thing you'll notice here that there's 4 packs, and we also now have the beauty pack as well. So if you check in you can't check in the back office, but when you get the distributor kit, if you go ahead and purchase it, you'll see the Wealth Builder packs mentioned in the distributor kit, and we now have a beauty option that people can get started with. So that's really useful. So that's pretty much it for the distributor kit. Let me just check here. I've got everything. Okay. Actually, no, it's not it. Let me just mention something else. That's not it, actually. I don't know why I said that. Right. So on the back side of the Wealth Builder form, there is an enrollment form. So distributor enrollment form. So this is really useful if you're meeting with someone in a coffee shop, or if you're out and about and you don't have access to a computer or you don't have access to the internet and they want to go ahead and join. then you can fill in their details on this enrollment form. You can list them as a preferred customer too. They don't have to be, it's got a distributor enrollment form. So you could put them, I think you can just put them down as a preferred customer on there. Let me just check here. Yeah, I would just note that they're a preferred customer, not a distributor. But the thing is, it doesn't really matter because you're the one that's going to be processing the form. So you would know what they're wanting to join as a distributor or a preferred customer. So you can get them to fill in their details, and then it just means that you can go and process that later on when they're not there. You can jump onto the Sizzle site, enroll them under you with all the details that they've provided. So that's really useful. And I just think if somebody's ready to join, you definitely want to join them there and then on the spot while they're ready, when they're ready to do that. So that's great. And then the other thing that comes in the kit, aside from the catalogs and that, you've got a Sizzle system brochure, and I don't have a picture of this, but it's a hands-on guide to starting a Sizzle business. Now, Dr. Kurt and Alison and Andrea went through this information on Saturday's call. There's a recording of it. But I just wanted to cover it again just briefly so you have a good understanding of it. So it's just got a welcome to Sizzle page just saying your first 48 hours are critical in starting a business. And so the first thing they get people to do here is discover your dream. You know, what is your dream? Why do you want to achieve your goals? And so here, take a minute or two to write down your dream so you can build a dream board later. So they're actually recommending, you build a dream board, which is an excellent idea. And if you haven't written down your goals, and if you're on the call tonight and you're wanting to build a business, but you're not actually sure, if I said to you, well, how much income would you like to be earning 2 years from now? And how much income would you like to earn to be comfortable? If you can't answer those questions, then how would you ever reach it if you haven't actually thought about it at least and written it down? So I think this is like really critical. It's something I haven't touched on really too much in the past, but I have sent out a questionnaire to a few people, and I'll be following up with them, and I will be sending it to everyone, which I'm actually asking some questions about your goals and that. And the reason I'm doing that is so that I can better support you. So if I know you've got a goal for, 3 years from now, I can help you work towards that and know, what are the sorts of things you need to be doing to get there. And what I found with goals is it's actually the daily activity that counts more so than the goal, because the activity and doing those steps is what helps you reach the goal rather than focusing on the goal. So you put the goal out there, put it down, but then focus on the actual steps or the activities, the daily disciplines, I guess you would say, that it's going to take to get you to reach your dream. So that's covered in the Getting Started guide briefly as a dream board. Then obviously make your list. Make your list, family, friends, co-workers. Another way you could get people to make their list is, get them to list all the people they're friends with on Facebook. Because as you know, we're doing quite a lot of training on social media. And as the kind of weeks and months move on, I'll be presenting to you guys more methods of actually reaching out to people on Facebook. And I'll actually be doing more of it and showing you how to do it so we can actually do training on it and help people. So, making your list could be as simple as looking at all your friends on Facebook and start writing down the names. There's your list. And often for people, that's quite a big list. So that's really useful. Make a list, develop and share your story. So, working out, obviously using the products, finding the products that work best for you, developing your story, because it's really difficult to recommend or share a product if you haven't had personal benefit yourself. In fact, I personally wouldn't do it. Unless maybe if I'd heard somebody had used it and they got a phenomenal result, I'd tell them, but I'd tell them it was a third party reference and, that it worked well for this other person. So I guess if somebody is getting started and they don't have a product story yet, then it would be important for them to find a product story that they've heard from someone that they know, understand it, that they can share. And practice sharing that. And so there's some tips and along with doing that. Contacting people, what to say. So there's some suggestions about contacting, learning how to invite and following up. So I'm just going through what else. The getting connected. So it talks about, talk to your upline and become familiar with your Sizzle team back office online portal. Understand how to enroll people, place orders, check reports, and use the tools in the back office. Subscribe to the weekly emails. And also you automatically subscribe to Dr. Kurtz, but, reading those emails and newsletters. reading the blog. So if you do want updates, typically everything is updated on the blog, but I'd also put in here reading the Facebook group. So Liesel's constantly updating the Australia, New Zealand Facebook group. If she says she's going to do something and it hasn't been done, she'll actually put a comment on there and give you an update, and that's what I've been finding. Also, the Call Connect calls, which are held monthly, and the WhatsApp calls, which are posted to the Sizzle International YouTube channel. I actually send out, I'm just going to remind everyone here, when people join your organisation, they actually get a welcome email that I send out. And the welcome email actually has links to all the Facebook groups like Sizzle Testimonials, the Sizzle World Team, the Sizzlers Connect. It has links to the YouTube channel, encourages them to subscribe to the channel. It has the phone numbers for the corporate office around the world, the different office numbers, hours of operation. All of that information is provided to them in a welcome email. And we'll tell you that probably the percentage open rate for that's about 25%. So if you do sign someone up, just remind them that they will get a welcome email, and to check the email because it's got the contact information, groups and Facebook stuff and all of that they can then connect with. So just to let you know that that's all there. If you do want a copy of that email so you know what I'm actually sending, please feel free to get in touch with me and I'll share that with you. So that's great. So what else have we got here? What are we up to? Step 6. Okay, step 5, getting connected. We did that. Step 6 is return on your investment. So this getting started guide talks about how to get the return on your investment within 30 days, and then what it's actually going to take. What are the daily activities you're going to need to do to reach that? And then your first 60 days, which is then, products for free, part-time income. And then it goes on to step 9, how you'd work towards, making a real change in your lifestyle. So 500 plus per month or above. It then touches also on 1-star master. It goes on a little bit about the compensation plan, and that's it. And so that's what's in the Getting Started guide. So, I encourage all of you to go ahead and purchase a kit and become familiar with it. So I think the kit's really fantastic, and we've needed something like this for a long time. So the other thing I will share with you now, if you did miss Dr. Kurt's call, you can watch the training video. Well, it's not a training video. It's a video that explains the detailed steps. Let me just change views here for a second. I'm going to go to YouTube. Let me just see that you can still see this. Okay, good. You can still see it. Oh, yes. Okay, so I would go to Sizzle International. You can go to Sizzlers Connect or Sizzle World Team. Dr. Kurt and I always put the same videos up. But if you go to Sizzle International YouTube channel, okay, you've got the episode 11 here. It's called episode 11. And it's Jason. And I can't remember the other gentleman's name. It slips my mind. But anyway, they go through the whole kit in detail. It's a 9-minute video explaining to you the contents of the kit. So if you haven't seen that video, I recommend watching it. And that will be useful for you as well. So that covers the distributor training or training for the kit. We'll obviously have more information on that as we kind of develop a bit further in terms of getting more experience with it. Okay, so what else have I got for tonight? So I might, we're going to take I'm going to take a break for 10 minutes. I want to share with you a 10-minute video from Jeffrey Combs tonight. Just wanted to add this in. He is someone that I have always liked when I was in New Ways. I hope that you like him too. But the reason I'm showing this to you, because you might have remembered that I've mentioned about on calls before, it's really important you find someone that's sort of like a mentor to you, that's professional in the industry, that you can relate to, that you like their style, you like the way they talk, the way they present. You find their information valuable, and really tap into their resources, because that sort of information really, inspires you, keeps you motivated, and teaches you some really useful skills. But more importantly, I think the most important thing that it does is helps you change your mindset, because the reason that we don't approach people and talk to people about the business or the product opportunity is perhaps we don't feel confident. We feel like we really shouldn't be saying anything, or we don't feel confident. So really it comes back to a mindset thing. So I think this sort of information is really great. So I'm going to stop talking for a bit, and we're going to watch this video. It goes for 9 minutes. And then the other thing that I'm going to finish off with is, let me just check my list here. I did I did want to share with you where I'm up to with the Kim Claver course. That's been really exciting. So I'll speak on that for 10 minutes. And then the last half an hour, we're going to talk, I'm going to share some information from the Drink Water Make Money business model. And I want to share a training that you guys wouldn't have seen unless you're already in Drink Water Make Money campaign so Trevor and I did a pop-up shop at a mall, and we did a training on it. We just sort of talked about our experience and our feedback, and I think you'll find that quite interesting. And so we were in the mall doing samples of the H2 stick for a gold coin donation. So I wanted to share that with you tonight. Again, trying to inspire you, motivate you, give you ideas about how you could find leads, prospects, and build your business. So let me take a break for 2 minutes. Let's watch Jeffrey, and then I'll be back. So let me just check. I've got this here. Yep.
Where you live on crackers, water, do you have just enough to barely get by? All your friends tell you to grow up, get real, stop chasing rainbows. You remember those people? I call that the not much crowd. You know those people, you call them up and they want to talk to you about the weather and you ask them what's going on and they say not much. And then when you make it, these are the people who magically appear out of thin air and go, oh, we knew you could do it. No matter where we are in free enterprise. All of us in this room, we're all connected by being in free enterprise where there are no limits. And I'm not just talking about the money you can achieve, but the person you can become. From my perspective, money is a little overrated. Money is, love what creates the world going round. I've also found that money pays for the trip. Have you also found that out? And it's your responsibility to allow yourself to get comfortable, not with money, but with receiving. Receiving is one of the most underdeveloped skills in America, in Canada, around the world. Would you agree? Now, most of us are great at this. We're great at giving, aren't we? We give, and we give, and we give. But what ends up happening is we end up giving a lot of our power away. Would you agree? And there's a few words that are used in the English language like this: debt, fear. Keep a society in debt and fear. They're very easily controlled and manipulated. And then the word debt-free. How many of you want to be debt-free? How many of you want to be debt-free? Oh yeah, I want to be debt-free. How many of you want to be debt-free? Oh, let me explain to you. You don't ever want to be debt-free. Debt-free is an oxymoron. It's like a large shrimp. Can you notice this? Like debt and free. See, it's an oxymoron connected by one hyphen. You don't ever want to be debt-free. You want to be free, don't you? Debt-free means zero. And that's what the typical populace does. They actually get duped into believing they're debt-free by manipulating and managing their debt. So your objective in the next 2 to 5 years is to be in a position where you have more assets than you have liability. And what we're going to do with you in this next 3 days is assist you with the assets that you have within you. Because you already have everything you require to be whatever, be successful, be prosperous, be whoever you deserve to be. We're also going to assist you with one of the most important words in the English language, deserving. It comes from a Latin word. It means day of service, de servie. Now, if you enter a profession called sales, I don't want to be a salesman, saleswoman, where you're going to be doing one of two things. You're going to be buying or selling, and you want to be selling. Because seriously, you want to get comfortable with the fact that you are marketing your own energy, because that's what you're selling. And you want to get comfortable with the fact that you're comfortable enough with yourself that you can receive. And receiving brings up a lot of contradictions, doesn't it, Wayne? And many people who operate a non-profit organization from the discomfort of their home, you have to think about that a second. How many of you have one of those right now? A non-profit organization that you operate from the discomfort of your own home. It means your enterprise. It means you're not creating. One of the most important words in free enterprise is profit. You're in business for two words, fun and profit. Because I'll tell you this, baby, if it ain't fun, you're going to procrastinate. How many of you found that out? And you will find all the ways known to mankind to wear out your carpet. You'll walk from one end of the house to the other, getting ready to get ready, getting all of your ducks in line. How many of you do this? How many of you presently do this? Okay, so let's practice a little exercise to kind of get us started. For you, which would be I, me, you want to be in present tense, you want to say I. Can everyone say I? I. I is underrated. I is underrated. Most people say you. You know when you struggle and you go, oh yeah, I'm struggling. You don't ever want to let anyone bring you into their drama. Because there's a lot of drama and chaos out there, isn't there? Have you noticed? And people are willing to bring you into their drama and most importantly, their anxiety. You see, we as a society get addicted to our emotions. And the emotions that we get addicted to are hate, anger, guilt, resentment, abandonment, rejection, and overwhelmed feelings. And anytime your body, the physical body, which is the mind-body connection, anytime our body goes into one of these emotions, it releases a biochemical or a neural peptide. So what this means is neurons that wire together fire together. And it's the reason that we do, right Joe? It's the reason we do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. And we try and convince ourselves to do what we perceive to be painful. Now if you ever really allowed yourself to understand the LOM, the laws of marketing, if you ever really started to understand what is required for me, that would be I, to become successful, then the whole process would be a whole different level of ease, E-A-S-E, which is an acronym you can break down to E-Z. Now if you can operate in the EZ zone, you would be an easyologist rather than a hard-a-holic. How many of you practice the art of hardism far too much? How many of you struggle way too much? How many of you know that much of your life you've been addicted to the struggle? Seriously, I'm asking you to consider this. One of the most underrated situations in the world is the word objective. Because when I become objective, then it means I'm taking a look at myself objectively without judging myself. Now, the reason that most people aren't successful in their own enterprise is they spend too much time in their own judgment. It means they're too critical of themselves, so critical, in fact, that they can't let other people into their space. How many of you do this? How many of you know you do this? And to get comfortable in this process means you start with a series of affirmations that say, I am good enough, I am lovable, I am a receiver, I am. The power of the spoken word, it's very important, isn't it? The power of the spoken word, because you're going to get exactly what you speak. What you think about, you end up bringing about. So if you start to take ownership of where I am today, that would be this, my enterprise. You don't want to have a business, because if you have a small business, you'll typically run out of time. You want to learn how to leverage your most valuable commodity, which is time, right? And you want to learn this, to turn time into money, time into results, time into connections, and most importantly, time into collaborations. Your objective is to find as many people as possible, and this would be in the 80-20 principle, as many people as possible that you can collaborate with. Because if you can attract, see the law of attraction, if you can learn to attract people you can collaborate with, then there's never any competition. And that, my friends, is the game. That is the law of attraction. People that I can collaborate with share ideas. In this game called free enterprise, you want to allow yourself to get to a position where your highs are lows and your lows are like this. It's called the flatline effect. It means emotionally, you don't get so excited that your excitement is connected to your anger. You want to get to a point where your excitement is not motivation, it's inspiration. Because see, motivation wears off. Have you noticed? You go to a seminar, oh man, I'm jacked up, I'm jacked sideways, I'm pumped up. Oh, I can't wait for Monday. But you want to be able to move from motivation to inspiration and most importantly, transformation. Because transformation is where the law of compounding starts to catch up with you. And until you experience this, it's very challenging to explain. Kathy, you can understand this. Until you experience the law of compensation and the law of compounding, it's very difficult to explain, but it's kind of like this. It's like when money comes, you wonder where it's been hiding. How many of you can relate to what I'm talking about? You go through several years of being challenged, and I stopped using the word struggle, and I stopped using the word broke, because the word broke is connected to a word meaning broken. And if you really study the English language, a lot of our words come from Latin, which will give you the derivative of almost every word, which then allows you to start to transform the way you speak, because the way you speak will be exactly what you attract. And if you started to develop a profile of exactly what you deserve and what you seek, you'll change who shows up in your life, and the clues and the signs will show up in your voicemail box. And when some of these clues and signs show up in your voicemail box, you want to be going right on.
Wow, there's so many gold nuggets in that 9 minutes of him talking. He's a very sparse speaker, but I think his information is awesome. That actually is a 9-minute segment from an hour and a half long session. It's actually available. You can watch it on YouTube. I've already watched it twice. I thought it was brilliant. There's so much depth to it and kind of aha moments as he's talking. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed that 9 little short minutes. So for the next 10 minutes, I want to cover what I've been learning with the Kim Claver stuff. And then the last half an hour, we'll go over the drink water, make money. And Trevor and I are talking about our feedback from our experience at the moment. So last time I spoke to you guys, I was telling you I was interviewing people. So let me just bring this up here. Bear with me for a second. Now, I had decided I'd come up with a statement regarding who I was interviewing or who people I was looking to interview. So part of this training course that Kim Claver got us to do is first come up with meet your niche. And so we had to work out, I won't go back through the first 8 script, but I will mention that I was looking for people who have more aches and pains than they think they should for their age. That's what I sort of started with. And then I realized I didn't really need the word more aches and pains than I think I should for their age. It should just be really more aches and pains than they think they should. So those were the people I was targeting. And the purpose of this was to interview them. Now let me just share the screen here. Just kind of recap here. I'll tell you how many people I actually contacted that I didn't even know. Okay, you can still see that. Good. Okay. So you can see it's got some notes here because I was interviewing someone and jotted it down on this particular document. But the interview questions were, so what I did was I had a script from Kim, and let me just bring it back up. I'll just show you how I actually found people to interview. So my goal was to find 10 people to interview who have more aches and pains than they think they should. It could not be an existing customer or distributor in Sizzle. So that was out, couldn't interview them. They had to be someone who's not part of Sizzle or not used the products before. And so how I actually did this, let me just see here. Just trying to show the statement here. Okay, this is what I used here. So actually, I just keep checking to see if I'm sharing the right screen. Sorry, let me just check here. I think that's the right screen. Okay, hopefully you can see the screen that I've got here, which says Facebook approach. So there was a few ways we could do it. One is we could just post a statement on a Facebook group that we thought was relevant and ask for people. This is what Kim calls calling out people's names. So instead of saying, hey everybody, can you please help me with my survey? That's not what we did. We had to put basically what the issue was. So I'm doing in this particular here, let me type this here. This is not what I did here, but I'm doing a bit of research on a specific niche for a class I'm taking, and I need to talk to a few ladies who, and here I actually put, she was just giving examples of what different people who have more aches and pains than they think they should. Okay, that was actually my statement. And then, do you know anyone who might be willing to help me look good in front of my class by letting me hear their answers? Well, I'm not selling anything. So, so I actually posted this. Now I posted it in a fitness group. I got one lady respond and said, yeah, sure, I'll help you. Then I messaged her on Facebook, and then I asked for her phone number, and I actually called her. And then we went through my survey questions, and she did the survey. And then I posted it in, where else did I post it? I posted in the park group, which is the Frankston gym. I have a fitness group, and I got 2 people in there, but only 1 followed through. And then I started messaging people on Facebook, and I used the exact script method that Kim gave me. So what did I do here? I'm just going to show you that here. So I messaged people I've not even spoke to. You know, I even messaged my cousin, who last time I spoke to her was 20 years ago. And you could imagine I was a bit apprehensive, but I just do it. This is what you're enrolled in. Do the program, just follow and do the activity, step out of the comfort zone, do it. So I messaged my cousin, haven't spoken to her 20 years, said, Sally, hi Sally. I actually put a hi in there, but she's like, if you don't know them, you don't have to put the hi. So I'm like, Sally, question for you. Actually, I think I just put Sally, question for you. And then she came back and said, yeah, sure. And then I just followed exactly the script of what Kim gave me, cut and paste it into the message box. And finally got to the end one and she said, yeah, sure, I'll be happy to do the survey. But then the question I ask is, before I ask you anything though, I must confirm you're actually in the niche. She's like, yep, sure. And then I said to her, well, the niche is people who have more aches and pains than they think they should for their age, or than they think they should, and who are still looking to get rid of it. Now, it turned out that she wasn't in that niche. She didn't have more aches and pains. She says, I actually go to the gym and do this and I feel pretty good. And the thing that I actually learned from this experience is that I think I might have offended her a bit because I used the word more aches and pains than you think you should for your age. And this is where I kind of clued on to think, maybe I should drop that comment and just put more aches and pains than you think you should. Because then she came back to me and said, well, I know I must look older than I am, but I do feel good, and just all the stuff she started saying, I kind of thought she almost maybe got upset by me asking her. But then I realized it was in my wording, and so then I altered it. So anyway, it turns out my cousin wasn't in that group, and I said, that's great, glad you're not in that group. And I started messaging more people. I literally, I don't know how far back, I'm just trying to think how many people I messaged. I think I messaged at least 20, maybe 30 people. Let's see here, I just want to bring this up to here to show you some of the messages I've got here. Let me see. I want to show you someone that I've not spoken to and just randomly messaged. Let's see. Okay. Still got more people here. Hang on. Okay, so I then got lots of responses to the last thing I did. I just want to show you. I've been speaking to a lot of people. I just want to show you because I just want to show you the dialogue. Okay, I think I can't. I'm going to have to scroll back too far, and I'm going to keep you on the call too long. But anyway, so I messaged probably about 20 people. Out of the 20 people I messaged on Facebook, I got two agree that say yes, they were in that group, and 2 agree to the doing the interview. Okay, so there's your statistical numbers there, 1 in 10, right? So that actually panned out, 1 in 10. So for every 10 people, I got 1 participate. And then what I did was I thought, okay, well, where else could I post my comment? So Kim suggests, posting in a Facebook group, because I only got 1 response before. But then I actually requested to become a member of a Facebook group that's for people with fibromyalgia, chronic pain, and all of this. So I requested to be a member of the group. Admin approved me to be a member, and then I posted my statement that I just shared with you before about, looking for 6 girls with more aches and pains than they think they should. Let me just see it here. Yep. Anyway, I think you kind of get the gist of what I'm saying. And so admin approved it. And it was amazing. Like, she approved it. And then literally within her 2 minutes within her approving it, I got like 4 people say, yeah, sure, I'll do it. I'll do it. I will. Me too. Me too. By the time, after like 2 days, 20 people responded and said they would do it. And so then I was like, I started messaging them, and it was getting a bit tricky to keep asking for people's phone numbers. So what I ended up doing was I just called them on Facebook Messenger. You know how you can call someone? I said, I'll just call you here. And I just got, 6 short questions, and yeah, sure. And so then I started doing that and, writing down all their answers. So I ended up interviewing, I think, 11 people, and I've still got like 4 or 5 people waiting because I said I'll get back to them, and I'll get back to them this week. And even though I've completed this task, I'm still going to interview them, because one of the questions in the interview questions, and this is what I wanted to touch on too before we move on to the last segment. So, I'd say, hi, Mary, thanks very much. Appreciate you taking the time. And so then I'd say, what's the worst thing about having more aches and pains than you think you should right now? And then they'd tell me all what the problem is. Then I'd say, how long has this been going on? And then the next question I'd ask is, what things have you done to help this so far, and how did those things work? And so they then tell me what they've tried, and then the other ones will, actually this wording could probably be changed, but one, what would happen if things just stayed the way they are? And, people were saying, like in this one, because as we age, things will get worse. I want to have a life. It is important to do things for my daughter. You know, I want to be able to take walks with my daughter. So why not say? And then the next question was, how committed are you to make the situation better on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 is you don't care, and 10 is you must change it. So then the person would say an 8 or a 9. I had one girl say 11. But, you know, an 8 or a 9. But what's interesting is Kim Claver, when she does this survey exercise, and it's not asking people with the same problem, but she believes that unless somebody's at a 10, they're not ready. They're not ready to make the change completely. So, or they don't believe it, or they don't think it's possible for whatever reason. So that was kind of really interesting. And then the last question was, the second last question, do you know anyone else with this issue? And then the last question was, if we came up with a way to help you solve this, would you want to know about it? And they answered all those questions. I ended up interviewing, 11 interviews. And also at the end of that, I also said, do you mind if I send you a friend request? And so now I've added them all as friends. And so now basically I've left the door open that I could follow them up with a solution to their problem. So you can see this is a really effective way. You could even use this method just to gain leads. Like you could come up with a survey, pick a niche, what you're going to focus on, and then just start requesting, finding out people to interview. And it's not confrontational. You're not pushing anything on them. You're not trying to sell anything on them. So it worked really well. I was really impressed. I love the questions. The questions are great too. I'm now using these sorts of questions now with following up with people who have joined Sisel and maybe haven't ordered, or I'm following up with them. I'd say to them, I kind of modified some of these, and I might say to them, if you could improve one thing about your health right now, what would it be? And then they'll tell me, and I'll ask them, what things have you done so far to help that, and how have they worked? So I can actually use this same sort of questioning format. And what happens is you actually find out, what people's main concern is and what they want to fix and how willing they are to do it. And this is like pretty cool information that we need to know, rather than just trying to tell someone, well, I think this would be good for you. Because maybe, we really don't know what their main issue is or what really is. So that's where I'm up to in this course. I've completed the interviews, and now the next part, I'm not actually sure the next part. I've got the next training video to listen to tomorrow, so I'll find out what the next bit. But eventually with this course, what we end up doing is we have a script that we can then just message people on Facebook, collecting leads, finding out if people are interested in what we have to offer. And she does it in a very clever way, similar way to what I did to find people to interview. And it just works really, really well. So, I spoke to 2 people I already knew on Facebook. I spoke to one of my mum's friends. I just contacted as well. I did contact her. And then the other, I think 7 were people that I found on Facebook. And some of them lived in the US. One lady lived in Iceland. They're all over the world, quite a few in Australia. So it was just really interesting. It was probably the biggest learning experience that I've had in marketing probably ever. And anyway, so I wanted to share that with you. If you are interested in anything that I'm sharing tonight and you want to know more, feel free to get in touch with me. So that's where I'm up to with that. And the next thing I wanted to, actually, Helen, if you're on the call, because I've been talking about this sort of stuff for a while, and Helen, hopefully you're still on the call. Let me just see. Yes, you are. Helen, I'm just going to unmute you. Can you tell people what happened with that group that you joined and then you put a comment? Do you mind? I'm just going to unmute you. If you could just share your little story, I just think it will help everyone. You're unmuted.
Oh, right. Hi, everybody. So I joined this over 60s group. It's an online thing, and I often have different topics. And recently we've been running little quizzes about health and asking questions about, one of the questions was, what do you do daily to help your health and increase your health? And everyone put something on, I take this, or I do this, or I walk around the block for 5 hours, whatever. And I just put on it, I just thought, bugger it, here I go. So I just put on it, I take this fabulous magic pill that just works wonders, and it makes me feel like I'm 20 again and I'm 67. And I left it at that. And then a day later, I got a question from somebody, hi, Helen, what might that magic pill be? Yeah. And so I replied back and asked them to private message me, but I didn't hear anything back after that, but it was a golden opportunity to put that into practice and to put it out there. It was like screaming at me. I had to do it.
Yeah, fantastic. And so how did you come across that? So that group, because that's a great group to be in. How did you come across that group?
Pure accident, to be honest. Pure accident. I don't even remember. I've been following it for years, and for at least probably 3 or 4 years. Well, ever since I've been on Facebook, really, since then, which is not that long, as you know, Katie. So it's probably since I've been on, not long after I joined Facebook, and I really can't remember how I got started. It was just some random thing came up on an email, I think, or something, and I just thought, oh, that sounds interesting. And they have meetups and everything, but unfortunately I can't go because of work. But they have different meetups in each state once a month, I think it is. You can go along to, it's a coffee shop or something you go along to and meet other people and chat about things. And I thought, gee, it's a perfect opportunity to do something like, talk about Sizzle. But I haven't managed to get to one of those because it just conflicts with my working
That's okay.
situation. But it was just this golden opportunity to say that, and I just remember something that we spoke about months before about not mentioning what it is you take, and just getting them curious to find out ask the question, what do you take,
Exactly.
So
because now they're approaching you instead of you approaching them, and so
exactly,
that's attraction marketing working at its best. So for everyone on the call, I just want to explain a bit more maybe what happened with Helen. And this also happened with me. When I started getting people responding to my posts in these groups, and I'd say, I would message you. When you actually message someone, and it's really important I share this with you tonight, actually. So when I actually message someone, let me just see if you can see my screen. Can you see my face there, Helen, on Facebook?
Yep.
Okay, good. So when you message someone, if you go to your inbox, let me just go here to Messenger. Let's just bring this up. If you don't know them and they're not a friend of yours, the message that you send them, let me just go here, manage message. It's actually even hard to find, manage requests. Let's see. Yeah. If you message someone and you're not a friend with them on Facebook, or like, for instance, say one of those ladies did respond to Helen and she said to them, message me, you will not see their message if you're not on Facebook. It will not appear in your standard message box. You have to go into your Facebook Messenger and click on the section here that says message requests. They're people who have sent you a Facebook message who are currently not your friends. So they do not appear in your main inbox, I guess you would say, inbox. Let me just open this up in here in full screen because I just want to show you, because this is really important. So probably what I would suggest Helen now to do in that situation is the two people that did say they were interested, click on their little face and hang on, let me just see here. Click on their little face and go to their profile and add them as a friend. Because now when you add them as a friend and you message them, if they accept your friend request, if you message them, now your message is going to appear in their main inbox and they're going to see it. Because at the moment it's likely that they may not see it. A lot of people don't even know there's a second inbox on Facebook. Like here, there's 3 people who have messaged me. I'm just giving an example. I don't know who this person is. Rain, Aka, don't know. Luigi and somebody else messaged me. So I don't know who they are and I didn't see them. Now you have the option that you can go add to Messenger or you can just delete them. So add them as a friend, then they will appear in the normal inbox. And so that's the first thing. And then my suggestion to Helen would be perhaps you could even message them and say to them, if what I talked about could fix one, maybe we'd fix the wording a bit, but you could say, if you could improve one thing, what would you hope that it would do? And so starting up that conversation with them, finding out what their issue is, because really, you've probably heard before, questions are the answers. You really want to get to know what their problem is, what are they trying to solve, what have they done for it, how, what has worked, what hasn't, because now you're in a much better position to be able to recommend things for them. You might be able to find out that something like the H pill combined with like Balance D would be really good for them. And so just kind of how you approach that situation, it's all a trial and error and learning experience, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. So anyway, I was really proud, Helen, that you did that, and I'm so happy that you shared that with everyone on the call tonight.
It was a good chance to put into practice,
Yeah, fantastic. Awesome. So That's great. And so the last 20 minutes, I wanted to talk about the Drink Water, Make Money. I might have to jump forward some of it because I know it goes for 27 minutes and I want to keep us on time. So we've got a Facebook group called Drink Water, Make Money team members. These are just for team people who have purchased a page and are participating in the campaign. But Trevor and I did a training last week, and I wanted to just show you some of that feedback based on the mall experience that we had. Here it is. So I might skip over a bit, but I want to share 20 minutes because I go into detail about what happened to us at the shopping mall. So I just thought this is going to be useful for you to hear. And I might just skip over a bit just so we can get to the finish on time tonight. But once we finish that, that will be the end of the call. So let me just do a new share here. Hang on a second. Okay. Let's go here. Tips. Things that will really help you grow your business here today, and to give you feedback. Over the first one. Really interesting psychology. So you definitely need to make the eye contact with them, and you need to say to them at that point.
Yeah, vicinity, I suppose, and we could sort of, if they made eye contact, we had a bit of a rule that we weren't shout out to people or anything, but if they walked past and they made eye contact and looked at what we were doing, we'd ask them if they wanted to have a sample or try a sample. And it worked really great. And it wasn't a real busy day, but we ended up with, I think, about 35 leads.
Yeah, about 38 leads.
38 leads. And
yep, go on.
They were really great people too, weren't they, Katie? It was a really good bunch of people. We had a couple of tire kickers, didn't we? But
yeah.
It was all in all, it was fun. It was a real lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Trevor's 100% right. I think when we got there initially, obviously you're a bit nervous. We're not sure how is this going to work. We've not done this before. What are we going to do? And I think after completing the session at the mall, we did learn quite a few things. And so we really wanted to give you feedback for your benefit and for ours, so that next time we do something like that, we can improve it even more so. I mean, the reality of the situation is the numbers they say is 1 out of every 10. So only 1 out of every 10 people want your product, and it's a matter of finding those people. The great thing about being in the mall is that people are walking past, and like what Trevor said, if they look at what we're doing, because they can see the big banners, we've got the medical breakthrough banner, it's very eye-catching. And if they look at it and they think, oh, what are they doing? And they look back a second time, they're interested. Now, the thing with that is you do need to say to them at that point, make eye contact and say, hi, would you like to try a sample? Now, if you don't say that and they've made eye contact and they've looked back a second time, they'll keep walking. It's up to you to initiate that action. They are interested, but they're not. There was only, I think, one person that was or maybe two people that were very forthcoming and walked straight over. The rest we had to prompt to come over, didn't we, Trev?
We did, yeah. That was really interesting too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You've got to remember that they're just human beings as well. They're just a bit shy as well, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely.
And we don't tend to have that kind of interaction with people normally, do we?
No.
It was really interesting that we did call them and create that situation, I suppose. It was great.
Yeah, really interesting psychology. So you definitely need to make the eye contact with them and call them over. Now, if somebody's not interested, it's very apparent because they will not make eye contact with you. They'll look straight ahead or they'll be on their phone. They'll do whatever. That means they're not interested.
That's right.
And if they're not interested, guess what? Trevor and I aren't interested. We don't want to talk to them either. We only want people who are like, oh, what's this? So that was then, sorting out the people. And I would say on numbers, now if we think of 1 in 10 want your product, I would say for every 10 people that walk past, probably one person come over. So I actually think, Trevor, then based on those numbers, there was sort of about throughout the whole day 400 people that would have walked past.
Yeah.
It wasn't an overly busy day. We actually, unfortunately, had the quietest day of the week. But actually it was probably a good thing too, because when we did have the little busy moments, it came, we had people gathered around the table. Trev's trying to talk to one. I'm trying to talk to one. We're trying to do that, do this, and you kind of get a little bit flustered. But obviously once you've done it a few times, you could have that whole thing working like clockwork. I think one of the mistakes, this is one of the things I wanted to talk on about in this group. If you're doing this as a business and you're following up leads, I definitely think you need to create your own hydrogen water, you can call it whatever you want, Facebook group. And you need to create that group, make it a secret private group for gathering leads. Because the thing is, once you've gathered, if somebody is on Facebook, you definitely want to connect with them and you want to add them to your group. The reason is that you can continually be promoting and advertising them to them. Every time you add a post, they're going to see it on Facebook. And and then basically you can build that rapport. They say it takes 5 exposures. Well, Facebook is the perfect way, because every time they see a post in their newsfeed, that's 1 exposure, 2 exposures, 3 exposures, 4 exposures, 5 exposures. And this is a great way to stay in touch with them without being annoying, without having to call them, they don't answer and all of this. That the calling is definitely important, and we'll talk a bit on that in a second. But I think the Facebook group is the way to go. Now, if you're saying, well, I don't know what to post in the Facebook group, well, the thing is, there's a hydrogen water Facebook group that's that actually, I'll share the link on this group that you guys all should be members of, and you can just grab that, copy their posts, and you can paste it straight into your group. So you've got content on demand, and now you create your own group of basically potential leads, customer base, a potential customer base there. So that is definitely my recommendation, because this Facebook group that we're in now is just for people who've signed up to the Drink Water Make Money program. We're not adding people who are just interested in hydrogen water or still thinking about it. But we don't want to lose those people's interest either. You definitely want to keep them. So the Facebook group is really the way to go. It's very easy to do, to create a group. If you are watching this video and you need help doing it, get in touch with me. I'll do a one-on-one training session with you and show you how to set it up. It'll take 5-10 minutes. And then you just need to become proficient at being able to copy content from another group and paste it in your own. And so this is definitely, I think, a tool that we need to do. So we didn't ask for them if they're on Facebook. What we should have done is ask them if they're on Facebook, added them as a friend there and then on the spot, and popped them in the group straight away, definitely. The other thing we did interesting, wasn't it, Trev, that initially we were kind of a bit shy, well, can we get your phone number and email address? And they would go, I'll just give you my email address, and I write down their name. And then I thought, this is not working. So then what Trevor and I did is we got the pad out and we wrote name, email, phone number, and put it on the table, and then just handed them a pen, because they're now prompted, because the notepad said name, email, they actually wrote it, and then everyone wrote their name, email, and phone number. So I'll just mute you for a second.
That was a really good learning.
Yeah, so that was a really good learning. So people will do kind of as they're instructed, but then when they're asked, they have to think about it. Now they question it. So really key that we should have done that from the start. So we lost a few phone numbers that way, which was unfortunate, but it's a learning experience, isn't it, Trev? Like you have to cut your teeth, you have to get out there, you have to make yourself feel like a fool, say stupid things, think, I shouldn't have said that, or that didn't work, oh, I lost that opportunity. Because every time you do that, your brain now goes, how could have I done that better? And now you improve. And like we could get to the point where we could be doing these and it could be like really slick. Like we could, our success rate and rate of like converting people could be quite high. Once we kind of iron out all these little kind of, I guess I'd say they're rookie mistakes. And so then we got their phone numbers. The other big mistake we made, we had at least 3 people say, where can I buy it? And we should have straight away pulled out this sign-up form, which is in the new distributor kit for everyone who's watching the call. Highly recommend jumping onto the website that's now available. Order the distributor kit. It's $30 New Zealand. It's got a tear-off pad in it, and you can tear off the application form. We should have had an application form right there and then got them to pull out their credit card and buy straight on the spot and filled it out. And again, I had thought of that previously, but then when we got into the situation, I forgot about it just because of nerves and, this is all new and you're trying to take in all the information. But definitely should have signed them up there and then on the spot because when somebody's ready to buy, they're ready to buy. And I think there was probably at least 2, maybe 3 that were ready to buy.
Yeah.
So that was another mistake we made. So if you're watching this, that's good information for you.
So
what else, Trev?
We didn't make that many mistakes, did we? Like you said, Katie, it's all a learning curve, and we got more comfortable as the day went on, and it was really casual, and we had a lot of fun, and we had a few people like make comment, and it was.
Hey, go and tell everyone what happened. Do you want me to tell it?
No, you can tell it.
So we had one lady come past, and she looked at our stand, looked at the banners, and she went, "Oh, what a scam! There's hydrogen in water already. It's H2O." And walked off. And Trevor burst out laughing. He roared with laughter. And this lady looked back and thought, what is he laughing at? And he was laughing so much, I started laughing. And then he was laughing so much. And then later in the afternoon, this lady came back and she's walking up towards us, and it was the same lady. And Trev yells out, oh, it's the hydrogen lady.
Oh, gosh.
And we're laughing and giggling, and she yelled out, snake oil. And then Trevor roared out in laughter. So you're going to get a few people that, don't like what you're doing, and that's fine.
She was the only one, but it was quite...
She was the only one.
It was fun.
It was fun. It was funny and it was fun. And I think when we went out into the mall to do this, Trevor and my intent wasn't, oh my God, how many people are we going to sign up today? Our intent was, what can we learn? How can we get good at this? And so...
Yeah, and what I really like with what you've created and all that training you've been doing with Kim Clavers, Katie, you've created like a questionnaire, which is not like a cell. So do you want to go into that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So what we did was, and this is something you could probably have on the day as well, but what we did is we've got the leads. So we started calling, we split them because we did it together. Trev's got half, I've got half. I've been calling them. And what I did is I actually said to them, hi, Mary, it's Katie. We met at the mall on Tuesday. You tried a sample of our H2 stick. I was just calling you to gather a bit of feedback. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions? And they're like, oh, no, that's sure. Of course, I also ask, have you got a moment? It's now convenient. It'll take a few minutes. Because if they're busy, you need to bring them back later. So I'm going to share my screen. I want to show you what questions I've been asking them. Actually, let me just see here. Just bear with me for a quick second. So I came up with some questions. Let's see. Okay. Facebook. Share. Okay. Hopefully you can see that. They're just on a notepad. I actually put it into a SurveyMonkey as well. SurveyMonkey online survey. So I've just got some comments here. So we met at the hydrogen, we met at the mall and we had the hydrogen water booth. So the first question I wanted to ask you is, I'm going to ask you, Trevor. So pretend you're Trevor. You're someone who came to the, met in the mall and have tried a sample. So let me do it with you. Yep. Okay, so Trevor, I just want to ask you, did you enjoy your sample?
Oh, yeah, I sure did. It's great.
Okay. Did you actually take it at the designated time?
Yes, I did. I waited 20 minutes and I did, yes.
Okay, great. On a scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you in this product and what it could do for your health?
Oh, probably an 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hypothetically speaking, if it could improve one thing about your health right now, what would that be?
Oh, I guess fitness for me. It'd be fitness.
Okay.
Sure.
And so what are you doing for fitness right now to improve that?
Probably not enough, really. Yeah, probably not enough, really. But I like the idea of the hydrogen water, giving me oxygenating the body, which sounds great, really.
Awesome. So how is whatever you're doing at the moment, you said you're not doing enough for fitness.
No.
Is that it's not working for you? Okay.
No, not really, no. But I do really want to find a time and do more physical fitness, really, yeah.
Okay. And how long has this been going on for, that this is something you've wanted to...
Oh, a long time, yeah. It's always been in the back of my mind, yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to making the situation better, to improving your fitness? 1 is you don't care, and 10 is, oh my God, I must change it.
Well, after talking to you at the mall and sort of learning a bit more about the oxygenation of the body and stuff, I reckon I'd give it a good 9. I reckon I must change this. I must get into it, yeah.
Okay, great. So if we came up with a way to help you solve this and help you, improve the situation, is that something you'd want to know about?
Yeah, it certainly is, yes.
Okay, great. And so are you actually on Facebook, Trevor?
I am, yeah.
Okay. Can I send you a friend request, and then we've put together a little group, where we're sharing information that might be of benefit to you. Is it okay if I send you a friend request and add you to the group?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, great. I'll just get that now. I've added you on Facebook. Okay, awesome.
So
All right,
would you
great.
do that online, Katie? Would you do that while having a conversation? Like,
I try to, yeah. Otherwise, yeah, I try and do it immediately on the spot.
really hard to find people, couldn't it?
Yeah, because I'll go to you. Oh, Trevor, I'm just going to add you now. So I'm just searching your name. Trevor, I found you on Facebook. Well, firstly, I could say I can't find you on Facebook. Could you respell your name?
Yeah.
And then I get the spelling exactly. And then I say, well, I found you on Facebook, but I can't actually add you as a friend. You know, you're blocking people.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Could you send me a friend request? I'll message you on Facebook. It'll appear in your other folder. So when you get a message from somebody who's not a friend on Facebook, it appears in the other folder. So I'll send you a message now. And if you just click on my profile and send me a friend request, is that okay?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so I've actually had to do that with a few people.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And so now, so that would be the end of it. But actually then I'd go back. The thing is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you in what the product could do for you now? In reality, Kim Claver says that unless somebody says a 10, they're not ready to buy. Okay, 10's ready to buy. 8 means they're almost there. They're thinking about it, but they need just a little bit more information. I did make the mistake of saying to the bike rider, Trev, and I said to you, he said he's an 8. And I said, oh, well, since you said that you're an 8, would you like to go ahead and purchase get started today and purchase your first box? And he said, no, I can't because I'm already sponsored by another company and yada, yada, yada. But he's still interested in the product because he's an 8. So that's why it's critical to capture their details on Facebook and put them into your group, because you already know that person's an 8 out of 10. So he doesn't want to buy right now, but I can assure you I feel that after he's had a bit more exposure to this information, that 8 will turn to a 10. Now he's turned into a customer. If we don't do these processes, we're going to lose them. It's a wasted effort. You would speak to them and say, do you want to buy a box? And they'd say no, and that's the end of the conversation. Goodbye, lead. But, because we need to build relationships, build rapport. The other great thing about these questions is we're really getting inside them. If you can tell from this questionnaire that I'm doing, it's opening the door to the other Sizzle products. I now know what his issue is. His issue is fitness. Okay, his issue is fitness. He might be interested in, fire and ice or some other Sizzle products. I'm not going to jump on board and say, oh, Trev, I've got a great product, fire and ice. Do you want to buy it? I have to continually build that relationship and drip feed in some information. It's the drip feeding that's critical part of the process, and the Facebook group will allow that drip feeding to happen because you can message them, you can tag them in posts, they can see it in the news feed when you're posting. And now that he's told me that, when I've got some more information, and he's also said he is interested to help improve his problem, so I asked permission. And so now this is basically how you can build that relationship and capture that lead. So that's kind of the system we've set up there. I've also done this questionnaire in a SurveyMonkey. I've taken these questions and I've created a free account on SurveyMonkey, and I developed a survey with the same questions. So if I don't get to talk to the person, so for the people we captured, we only got their email address because they didn't give a phone number. I've actually emailed them and asked them to fill out the survey. And that's kind of where we're at with this whole process. So I think we feel it was really successful, probably the greatest success. We've got one lady joining today. Another lady last night said she wants to join. So Trev, we'll probably get a few sign-ups out of that. But I think if we get better at doing this, we could get even more sign-ups. And do you see how this whole process that we've set up, we actually did not feel rejected at all by anyone. We're not feeling any form of rejection. So what do you think about that, Trev?
Oh, definitely. It was just really nice way of doing it. It's a lot of fun. Your questions, like you say, there's no form of selling in there, so you can't get rejected. I think the only person who felt rejected was the hydrogen lady.
Anyway, that was it goes on for a bit more, but we're at the 8:30 mark. So hopefully that gave you some ideas about sort of things that you can do. And if you need help with any of this, as I said, feel free to call me. I'll do a training session with you. We can work together. So yeah, so that I'm going to leave it there for tonight. We're at 8:30, and I hope you enjoyed the content and have a great week. And we'll catch you on the next call. So thanks everyone.
Katie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Katie. It was very good. Really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Vicky. Thanks, everyone.